Ladies and gentlemen, friends and fellow dreamers, look around this room. Think about your life, your daily routines, and the quiet spaces in your mind when the noise of the world fades away. In those silent moments, what do you see? You see visions of greatness. You see a life transformed. You imagine the business you want to build, the book you want to write, the fitness level you want to achieve, or the profound impact you want to make on the world. We are a room full of architects. We build magnificent castles in our minds. We design intricate blueprints for our future success, painting them with the vivid colors of passion, wealth, fulfillment, and freedom. But tonight, we must confront a heavy, uncomfortable truth. Why is it that so many of us are master builders in our thoughts, yet we live among the unexcavated foundations of reality? Why do we meet people every single day, perhaps even looking at one in the mirror, who speak with intoxicating passion about their grand ambitions, who possess undeniable intelligence, who carry the spark of immense capability, but whose lives remain exactly the same, year after year? We often dismiss this as simple laziness. We look at someone who does nothing and say, they just lack discipline. They don't want it badly enough. But psychology tells a far deeper, far more complex story. The gap between dreaming big and doing nothing is not a gap of physical laziness. It is a profound psychological battlefield. It is a war waged within the intricate wiring of the human brain, where fear masks itself as preparation, and the illusion of progress becomes the greatest enemy of actual execution. Tonight, let us pull back the curtain on the psychology of the unexecuted dream. Let us dissect the hidden forces that keep us trapped in the prison of potential, and let us discover the keys to breaking free so that we may finally step out of our minds and into our lives. The illusion of progress. To understand why grand dreamers often do nothing, we must first look at how the brain processes imagination. Psychology reveals that one of the most dangerous traps a dreamer can fall into is the habit of confusing thinking with progress. When you sit down and vividly imagine your success, when you visualize standing on a stage, looking at a booming bank account, or holding the finished product of your hard work, your brain undergoes a fascinating chemical reaction. It cannot fully differentiate between a deeply emotional visualization and physical reality. In those moments of intense daydreaming, your brain releases small, intoxicating hits of dopamine and satisfaction. You experience a sense of achievement. Your chest swells with pride. You feel the thrill of victory. But look at what happens immediately afterward. Because your brain has already tasted the reward, the psychological urgency to act begins to evaporate. You have already won the battle in your mind, so the exhausting, tedious, real-world work of clearing the battlefield feels unappealing and unnecessary. We talk about our goals, we post about our ambitions, we write elaborate to-do lists, and we buy fresh notebooks. We indulge in the beautiful aesthetics of starting, tricking our minds into believing that planning to build is the same thing as laying the brick. This is the first great illusion. Thinking about a masterpiece does not make you an artist. It makes you a spectator of your own mind. When we allow visualization to replace execution, we become addicted to the psychological reward of a future we haven't earned. The armor of perfection. The second hidden force keeping us paralyzed is a beautifully disguised enemy, the fear of failure, hidden under the glittering armor of motivation and high standards. When someone dreams incredibly big, they set a standard of absolute perfection for their future. They don't just want to write a book, they want to write a defining literary masterpiece. They don't just want to start a side hustle, they want to launch a revolutionary corporate empire. On the surface, this looks like immense ambition. It looks like a fierce commitment to excellence. But if you look underneath that motivation, you will find a terrified ego. The dreamer does not lack ambition. They are utterly paralyzed by what might happen if they try and fail. As long as the dream remains safely locked inside their mind, it remains pristine, flawless, and completely protected from the harsh judgments of reality. In their mind, they are still a genius who could do it if they wanted to. The moment they pick up the tools and make a physical attempt, they risk producing something messy, flawed, and imperfect. They risk proving to themselves and the world that they might not be as capable as they desperately want to believe.